I became a believer in the end of my freshman year in college. I had absolutely no church or Bible background. I tell people I didn't know whether Moses or Jesus came first. And I asked Jesus Christ into my life. And then got married and came down to Columbia to the Graduate School of Bible and Missions at CIU. Wasn't CIU at that time. And really began to learn the Bible. I took a course from a guy named Buck Hatch, and it was the best course I've ever taken. And it helped me to see the Bible as a whole. We went through the Bible twice, and he kept drawing on the chalkboard with a little piece of chalk. He was anything but an artist, but those little tiny drawings of his helped me to see and to understand. I went to teaching coach at Ben Lippen School in Asheville and taught a little bit of what I learned. And then I came back and finished up my degree and went to Africa, and then came back to be headmaster at Ben Lippen School, and the years rolled by, and then I ended up back at Columbia to teach. And Mr. Hatch was still teaching that course. But he announced it would be his last year. He was going to spend his time counseling. So I went in to see him, which I thought was pretty cheeky of me, but sometimes these older guys need younger people to give them wisdom and advice. And I went in and said to him, "You can't stop teaching this course. You've got to keep teaching this course." And he said, "Well, this is too important of a course. You've got to teach it. You're still doing a great job." "Well, who's going to teach it?" "You are." "Oh, no." Well, it got assigned to me, and so the last year he taught it, I took it again with him. Paid a really good attention, and realized that how much the course had infiltrated my life, my thinking. Time after time, there were principles. One of them you'll hear a lot, even in this mini course. God is not in a hurry. God grows things. That's how He works. And principles like that had ground deep into me. But also, I sensed after I took that course that I had a grip on the Bible as a whole. What I had before that was an awful lot of teachings and an awful lot of detail. And how does it hold together? Now, when I teach this course at the university, it's about 80 hours of class time. And this is going to be less than 3. So obviously, we are just hitting some of the high points, and hopefully it will be at least beginning to be useful to you. At the end, I hope you'll be able to sketch out the Bible in the back of an envelope in 5 minutes. But we're going to begin by talking about the Old Testament in the beginning, and it's real simple. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. We'll be doing a lot of little design things here. The Old Testament is covered in 17 books. There are 17 books in the Old Testament, as many of you know, and 5 books in the New Testament. So the first of these 17 books in the Old Testament is Genesis. And Genesis, in the first 11 chapters, gives us what I think is an introduction to the Bible. Now, if you have any problem with my saying there are 17 books in the Old Testament, you have to understand I'm saying that there are 17 books that take us from the beginning of the Old Testament to the end, from Genesis 1 to Esther, which is the last part of the history of the Old Testament, just before the Greek period, which is between the Old and New Testament. So 17 books, the 5 books of law, and then the 12 books of history. Those 17 books take us from the beginning of the Old Testament to the end. You say, well, I'm pretty sure that there are other books in the Old Testament. Yeah, there are. In fact, there's a bunch of older books, but I don't put them down here because they do not basically carry the historical line. There is 5 books of law, 12 books of history. Then there's 5 books of poetry. And these are more commentary on personal lives and on circumstances. And so Job, Psalms, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, and Song of Solomon are not mainly history books. There is a little bit in there. The same is true about 17 books. I'm going to put them 5 plus 12. There are 17 books of the prophets. And so Isaiah, Jeremiah, Lamentations, and Ezekiel, Daniel, often called the major prophets because they're longer. And then a set of 12 short prophetical books. Jonah would be in there. Jonah is a little bit, it's a personal history rather than a national history. But most of these are teaching, commentary, reaction to what's going on in Israel. So if you've got your 17 books, you can think your way through the whole Old Testament. It starts with creation, and everything's great. In the beginning, God creates the heavens and the earth. And then he creates Adam and Eve as a special creation, different than every other life form, created in the image and likeness of God. And certainly, when we talk about human beings being different, the evolutionary world would like to make it all part of a continuum, but they can't really show, and they'll go back and say, well, it takes millions of years, of course. They can't really show how we move from A to Z, or Z. What is it that makes human beings different than every other life form? Well, certainly one thing is language. There's no other life form writing books. No other life form writing songs and print publishing them. And in fact, I think language is that which particularly marks us as created in the image and likeness of God. I'm not sure physically that that's the mark of created in the image and likeness of God. My wife reminds me that she had a junior high science teacher who looked like the Cro-Magnon man, or one of those figures, from the early evolution, looked exactly like that. But how would he be different, and how are human beings different? We have language. We're the only ones that read and write books. And in the beginning was the Word. And the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And without him was not anything made that was made. God spoke the universe into existence and began a running, regular dialogue with man. Adam and Eve, special creation, different than every other life form, created in the image and likeness of God. But then things happen. Remember that this circle, and I'll use black, because this circle is Genesis 1 to 11. And that's not black, is it? Genesis 1 to 11 starts out with a couple of great things. The creation of the world. We're all interested in the creation